Okay, let's look at this video. This is from Jimmy James.
Iron Sheik, Jimmy James here. I'm representing the Bean, Boston, Massachusetts. And you come up here a lot and you work for Dan Mirade. So I got a question. Not for you, but for your super agent, Eric Sims. I know if he's not on camera right now, he's meddling in the back. So Eric, you get out here. How come when the Sheiky baby comes to Boston, he don't bring you? How come he's attached to the hip with Dan Mirade? And what are your thoughts of Dan Mirade?
Okay.
Come on, Eric. Let us know.
Okay.
Okay. First off, I've been with the Sheik for, say, 22 years already. And, you know, every time he comes to the Northeast, everybody knows, you mentioned the Iron Sheik, everybody knows Eric Sims. But Sheik has established relationships with other people around the country also, such as Dan Mirade up in Boston. So if Dan calls him, Dan, you know, I try not to interfere too much because I want Sheik to get work. I could block anything since Sheik is under contract to me and I have a legal contract with Sheik. I could block anything. I could block him from working, but I choose not to since, you know, he needs the money and, you know, whatever. So, you know, I let him go and do that. As far as me liking Dan Mirade, I don't like Dan Mirade. I think Dan Mirade is a fraud. Yes, he runs a nice promotion up in Boston, but I just don't like some of his business.
Well, what makes him a fraud? He runs a nice promotion in Boston.
No, just,
and he gives the
I'm going to
fans what
explain.
they want. What makes him a fraud?
It's just he misrepresents a lot of stuff, and I'm sure there'll be other questions. I'm going to get into proving that very shortly.
Okay, Jason Worthing. Eric, in a recent interview, Dan Mirade, Maloney, I love it, claims he operates all of the Sheik's social accounts like Twitter, Facebook, and MySpace. Is this true? And if so, do you control any of the Sheik's social media sites?
Okay, number one, I do not control any of the Sheik's social media sites. Number two, there must be 4 or 5 different Twitter accounts for the Iron Sheik. There must be 4 or 5 different Facebook accounts for the Iron Sheik. There must be 4 or 5 different MySpace accounts for the Iron Sheik. So I'm sure anybody could lay claim to it. As far as I know, one of the main Twitter is done with the Megan boys up in Canada. That's the publicist for the Sheik. We work together. We're all working together. They do the Facebook for the Iron Sheik. A guy by the name of Mark Leonard does Sheik Space or MySpace, Sheik Space up in the Boston area. If Dan Mirade does it, you know, that's his thing. He has his own website.
You got some operation.
The Iron Sheik Online. The Iron Sheik Online.com, which tries to promote the Iron Sheik, but it's all MWF based for the Iron Sheik. It's not an Iron Sheik thing where it's just solely Iron Sheik. It's everything MWF, or the Millennium Wrestling Federation, related for the Iron Sheik, which, you know, okay, it's good to promote his business, but not really promoting the Iron Sheik.
All right, let's take a look at this video about the topic at hand.
Eric Sims, it's Adam from Facebook.
Adam,
and I want to get your response to the comment that no good Dan Mirade made about you on YouTube. One time I tried to buy a DVD from Dan Mirade's website. He never shipped it to me. I ended up having to call my credit card company to get my money back. What Dan Mirade said about you, and I quote, Eric Sims is about as high profile as a pile of wet dog shit lying in the street. So you let him know you are the manager of the Legends. Nobody takes care of Legends like ESS. So tell me what you got to say to that no good piece of shit Dan Mirade.
What a ringing endorsement. I was going to ask you if you're paying him to say that, but then I realized the answer is obviously no. I'm talking to Eric Sims.
Adam has it right. Dan Mirade does 4 different shoot videos with the Iron Sheik and probably everybody else. He got screwed by Dan Mirade for not getting a tape and had to get his money back. And how many other people have done that? Have not gotten their products from Dan Mirade. Why I'm saying he's a fraud. Now, I get a lot of emails from a lot of people telling me that Dan Mirade doesn't send the stuff, and how could I get it? And I keep having to tell people, I'm sorry, I'm not affiliated with Dan Mirade. Dan Mirade does his own thing. You order something from me, you get it right away within a week or 2. You know, I'm not a Dan Mirade type. Fraud! You know, go stick to your little, hopping on your one leg, being a fucking gimp, and just run your wrestling show. Fuck you, Dan Mirade.
Jason Worthing says, Sheiky, is it true you were left in a car while Dan Mirade and the rest of the MWF crew were chowing down at Applebee's? Sheik, when you went to Boston to work for them, did they leave you inside of a car while they all went inside an Applebee's and they ate dinner?
Absolutely, that's true. And I never forgot about that. Dan Maradi didn't show me respect, and I don't care about Dan Maradi sometimes. But that jabroni put the orange chick over. He know the orange chick better than a lot of people, and he booked me sometimes. He's okay, but he get a lot of hit between that days. Left me in the car, absolutely.
But he treats this guy like you've been with him 20 whatever years. You care about him as a person. He's treated this way by this guy, and
When
he
I'm
is
not
allowed
there,
to continue to work for him.
That Sheik, if Sheik chooses to go up to work for Dan Maradi in Boston, that's his business because he needs the money. I keep telling him, because we had long talks over this. Every time he comes back and he goes on a tirade about Dan Maradi. I hate Dan Maradi. It's like, don't fucking work for him. Don't fucking work for him if you don't like him. Okay, all right. It's like, so the next thing, he gets booked by Dan Maradi. Why are you going back to Dan Maradi? I need the money. What's the money? It's like, okay, it's business. So he has to go up for the business. And I'm not going to stop him because he needs to feed his family and pay his bills.
Okay, Miguel Finley.
And before that, I would be wrong to stop him from trying to feed his family. If I can't put money in his pocket for a weekend and somebody else can, it would be foolish of me to stop him from making that money elsewhere.
Well, but you know what? But the treatment he's receiving, they're leaving him in a car. They're not feeding him.
Well,
I mean,
I don't like it. It's not, what. Outside of me being there and controlling everything, because when I'm there, everything goes perfectly, because I control everything from A to Z. Yeah, and that's
Not
it.
A to the Z.
Not the drug issue, the transportation, the getting from points A to B back to A, keeping the riffraff away, just whatever.